Hello, hello, hello. We are back with our brand new frameworks to give you phenomenal wins. And today we're going to talk about when your boss is an overtalker and you're not getting time to make your requests during your meetings. This is going to be a three-step method that is going to really help you craft this job to something that is useful. It's going to show you how to get something out of your meetings with your boss that's useful for you and has you loving your job and staying in your job and making your whole center better and your relationship with your boss better. When you follow these three simple steps, you are guaranteed to get something out of this meeting, even if your boss is an overtalker. This is a no-lose situation. You want to have this process because it'll make the rest of your career so much better. Also use it for any overtalker in your life, the in-laws, the neighbor next door, the person from church. An overtalker, by the way, is somebody who just fills up all the space with their words. You have no way to insert yourself or have a conversation. It's more like you're being talked at. And it's a very common leadership technique. And it's for a couple of reasons is that the people who get to be leaders are generally overtalkers. They're people who just talk, 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 talk. Before you know it, like you've heard lots of words from them. So the people who are leaders are enriched for the skill. So of course, leaders is a very common technique. And also, if they can fill up your half hour and your review with their discussions about what they're going to do at their summer house, then you don't have a chance to ask for a raise. They can keep their department expenses low. They have less work to do. So there may be some intentionality behind it. And also, in Next Level Freedom, we work around obstacles to make sure you are in the job you love, getting the resources and support you deserve so that you, your son, your boss, everyone's happier. I have come across this many times in my life. All the chairs that I've worked with have been overtalkers. There's no room to ask because they're constantly talking. It's a basic leadership technique that we can work around because we're not basic employees, right? So here are your three steps to work around them. Step one, alert them, announce to them. You can either send them an email that here's the agenda for the meeting we're having, or you can write them and say, I'm looking forward to meeting with you tomorrow. I have somewhere between 1 and 3. You'll say, I have 3 items to discuss. You can also remind them when you come in and shake your hand, thank you for meeting with me. I'm looking forward to discuss 3 key issues. You're going to want to look at your time. If you are 15 minutes in and haven't discussed one of them, you're going to want to say, can we talk about my 3 key issues? So you want to have a sense of time and how fast it's going back. Oftentimes I would just write out some bullet points. I would come in and say, thank you so much. I have 3 issues. And I would show them the paper so they knew there was a tangible reminder that we have these 3 issues. And if we're 15 minutes in, I would pick the paper up. Can we talk about the 3 key issues as a trigger for, hey, remember that these 3 issues. So I recommend a minimum of 1, no more than 3 for these meetings. This could be your annual review. It could be interviewing for the job. It could be a meeting you've called or a meeting your chair has called. Whoever called the meeting, have a minimum of 1 things you're going to ask for. So if your chair calls the meeting, they want to talk to you about how things are going, have something to ask for. If you're calling the meeting, for sure have something to ask for. We want to always leave the meeting with a chance of making this job better for you, which means so the philosophy I teach my clients inside of Next Level Freedom, my lifetime group coaching program, is we're always looking at our job thinking it would be amazing if ... We're letting our brain watch what's happening and find solutions to make the job even better. We are actively thinking how we can improve the process. And why I have this philosophy is because the facts are if you don't actively maintain something, it will deteriorate. This is for everything. This is for wine. This is for cars. This is for houses. This is for your hair. If you don't take care of your hair, it's going to deteriorate. The hair dye is not going to look so great. Layers are going to grow out. People love to say wine gets better with age. It doesn't. I promise you. We saved a bottle of wine from our wedding to open our 20th anniversary. It was gross. It had changed from red to yellow. We looked up on YouTube what this meant or on Google and what it meant. And it was like, this is now a biohazard. It has decayed, deteriorated, and become hazardous to our health. So everything decays over time unless you improve it. So if you want to stay in your job for a long time, you want it to be stable, you want to love it, you have to find ways to improve it, to reinvent it, to upgrade it. Otherwise, it will deteriorate over time. So you are always going to ask for a minimum of one thing. You're going to be always be looking for what is that one thing that would make such a difference. I recommend people have I say a bowling ball approach. So ask for the one thing that creates the most amount of change, the one bowling ball item that will knock over the most pins. So for example, the most common thing I've asked for is a raise because when I make my base salary is making as high, it solves a lot of problems. It makes there are more savings, more possibilities. I can hire people to support me being at work, or I can get more work done because I've hired people to help with photo editing or support me doing errands so I can be more available to get my charts closed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you're always going to be asking for one thing, get in the habit of it. So many people, when they meet with their boss, they're like, um, or if the boss calls a meeting, they're like, well, I can't ask for anything. They're meeting with me. They called the meeting. Not at all. The boss is calling the meeting to check on you, to see how you're doing, to see if there's maybe they have a project for you to do. Maybe they want to see how you're doing. Maybe they have a piece of data that's concerning to them. They want to check in with you about. The boss is checking in on you. This is a good time to be making requests of them. And if every meeting you're asking for something, you're going to get used to asking for something. You're going to used to be in the habit of advocating for yourself. And it's not going to feel like a big deal if you do it every time. You'll eventually get used to it. Oh, this is what we do. By the way, I have a philosophy. What would Ken do? That is the average man in the group who's like just barely pulling their weight. I'm sorry if you're a man listening to this, you'll be offended. That's okay. I'm not talking. I serve women physicians, so I'm okay if you're a little offended. But the average man in the group is barely pulling their weight. And what are they doing? Every meeting, they're asking for something. It's very common for men to just feel like I can ask for something, and they can. We can borrow it from them. So, what we can do, Ken is going to be asking for something, not a problem. And I'll show you how to ask in a way that doesn't sound selfish or greedy, that's looking out for you, your center, and your patients. And I call it the 4-step irresistible ask process. Stay tuned. My philosophy about, again, why are we asking for one thing per meeting is because you don't want to waste this opportunity. Most people aren't meeting with the chair weekly, right? Most people aren't, unless you're the vice chair, you're very senior, you're probably not. These are precious moments. Don't waste it by not asking for something. Remember, when you ask for something, it makes you happier. You will deliver more to the chair. You will deliver more value. You're more likely to stay. Your chair wants you to ask, whether they say it or not. They want you to ask because they want you to stay. I do recommend not asking for more than 3 items at once because if it feels like a laundry list to them, it's very easy for them to say no to all of it, to get overwhelmed by all of it. So you want to ask in a sophisticated way. I'll teach you how to do this a little later in the show. I suggest asking for 3. I think it's a perfect number because it gives them, they might say no to one. You're more likely to get the other one. Ask because you're more likely to get something. If you don't ask, you're definitely going to get nothing. In general, chairs are not meeting with you to gift you things, but if you're in the habit of asking, these meetings will mean your job will get better every meeting. How's that amazing? You get to be a better doctor, a better mom through these meetings. Step 2, I encourage my clients to script it out. It's very easy once you get in the meeting and they're running behind and the chair's stressed out and they're getting lots of calls and people are knocking on the door and you're starting to get nervous and your chair's mad about something. It's very easy to totally forget what's important to you and be entirely like have amnesia about what you want. So this is why step 1, we declare it, we let them know so that they can be centered on it, and we have it scripted out so we cannot get lost or scared in the process. We have it written out. Now, scripting it out, there's multiple layers of this. When you go into the meeting, I would just have brief bullet points. But often what my clients find helpful is they'll script out key elements and they'll practice that and we'll role play. So I'll be the chair and I will ask them tough questions and we will prepare responses for all of them. So the chair's like, I don't think a team player would ask this, or you're not far along enough, or, it's not fair because we haven't done this for other people. I give them scenarios that are most likely to happen and we work through each of them, which is the advantage of being inside of Next Level Freedom. Is that we make sure you are very prepared for these conversations. If you're not in the program, do this for yourself. Partner with a colleague, have a girlfriend, and practice with each other. I would recommend recording it on Zoom and reviewing it. And once you get to a version you like, listen to it on loop as often as possible so it feels very natural to your body. You'll work through all the kinks. I recommend watching it because you'll find yourself doing weird things that you want to work out of your system before you talk to your chair. How do I know? Because I have watched my own videos. I'm so thankful. As uncomfortable as it was, I am so thankful I did because I've seen myself like I used to roll my eyes a lot as I talked. I would make terrible eye contact. I would do weird things with my glasses, weird things with my hair. So I've really learned to tone that down because all of that, while it's not bad, it's very distracting. It's hard to give an effective, persuasive request while you're doing something weird with your glasses. So watch it. It's okay if it's uncomfortable. It's better that you see it so you can correct it instead and not let it impact your conversation. Script it out. Practice it. Have a rehearse. You've let them know beforehand. You let them know at the top of the meeting. You have this trigger reminder of the form so you can move through it, even if they're running behind, even if they're in a bad mood, even if they're being interrupted a million times. The paper will anchor you to these 3 items you're asking for. Step 3 is it's possible with all these techniques that person still overtalks because they're real good at overtalking. I've met those people. I know those chairs. And it's okay. Or if you get really nervous and you're really flustered or something, you had a bad day or you didn't sleep well and you didn't get a chance to go over your 3 items or follow our process, it's okay. What I would say here is all you have to do, it's a very simple fix, just schedule a follow-up. Just say at the very end of the meeting, say, it was so great to meet you. I actually had 3 things I didn't get a chance to ask. May I schedule a follow-up with you? Or if you even that feels like too much, you can either email them later. I really appreciated meeting with you. That was so helpful. There were actually 3 things I didn't get a chance to share. May I schedule a follow-up? They are not going to tell you no. So nothing is lost. In Next Level Freedom, we believe in infinite options and supporting you always. There are always options. If you follow this 3 steps approach, you are going to get something amazing. I promise. It's either going to be what you asked for, or it's going to be the skill of advocating for yourself, or both. And these are life-changing skills. You want these skills. You need these skills. Let me say it again. You're either going to get what you asked for, or you're going to get the skill of advocating for yourself, or both. This is a no-lose situation. So step 1 is alert them. Step 2, script it out. Step 3, even if it doesn't go well, you can schedule a follow-up. A couple of side notes is do not make requests over email. I don't even know your job or your center. I'm telling you, do not make requests over email. You need to do it in person so you can read the room, read their body language, ask follow-up questions. It's so helpful. If they say, no, we can't give you a raise, you want to know why, so you can come back with something. So if they're like, okay, we can't give you a raise because you have to be here 7 years before you get a raise. Well, then you can ask, could I get a signing bonus instead? Could I get a retention bonus instead? Could I get some more support with my CME, right? So when they say no, no is not interesting. You want to know why so you can reposition your ask. And we can help you with this inside of coaching. It's much more effective in person. Studies will just show this. Asking over email is so easy to say, no, we can't. I'm sorry. Ask me next year. So easy. But in person, especially if you follow our process and you work with us like on the scripting and delivery process part of it, be very hard to say no to you, especially the process that we teach. So go in person, get the data, have a conversation, move it forward. What I'll hear from people is, oh, I need to justify this. I have to be here 7 years. I need to give them my firstborn before I can ask. I need to write 5 more papers, 3 more grants. I need to see 5,000 more patients tomorrow. It's not true. It's your scared part of your brain telling you, trying to make you quiet and small so that it's trying to protect you. It's just not true. There is no rule you have to wait a certain amount of time to make a request. Inside of Next Level Freedom, the philosophy we follow is if you have a question, you feel inclined, that's the time to ask. Whether you're 7 years in the job or you're 7 weeks in the job, there's no wrong time to ask. You want to do it in a sophisticated way? And inside of Next Level Freedom, I teach the only physician mom specific decision and negotiation process. You'll find it nowhere else. I'm going to give you a part of that today. I call it the 4-step irresistible ask process. So step 1, what they want. Step 2, how you'll deliver it. Step 3, what you want. And 4 is the silence. So this is an example of what they want. They want the head of the GI division. They're looking for leadership who can put out the schedule, who can staff, who can recruit great faculty, who can recruit great trainees, who can be a leader of the group, who can present, run research projects to highlight the university. That's what they want. How you'll deliver it is you can come in and say, I am interested in being a leader. I've been a leader elsewhere. I'd be happy to do this. I have lots of ideas. I'm going to bring with my existing projects, my existing network, and more. I'm committed to growing the research interests here, growing more leadership here, and partnering with the university to highlight this university. What you want, and in order to devote time, in order to create this result that we both want, I would need 25% coverage so that I can have the time and resources to take the center to the next level. Step 4 is the silence. You don't say anything. You let them think. This is the part that's most hard for people. Let me start with the problems from step 1. What do they want? You have to do some research. So if you're going to a community practice that's rural, that really wants faculty who can just do lots of different services, talking to them about writing grants is not helpful. That's probably not what they want. They want someone who's very robust in the talents and who's very committed to the clinical care and education. So you're going to want to research what are they interested in. And how you'll do that is you'll read about the center. You'll look up at the news. You'll see what their newest initiatives are. You'll get a sense and a vibe of the center. You'll ask people, you'll talk to your colleagues who work there. You'll get a very good sense of what they want. Step 2 is how you'll deliver it. So this is where you want to see your strengths and interests and match it to what their values are. You want to have that to be a good match in general. My philosophy is incompatible values are incompatible. So if you are obsessed with resident teaching and this place doesn't care at all about it, that is not a great job. We want to have compatible values. It's best for you and the center. So you're going to want to have an idea of your own strengths and interests. Here's where people go wrong here is that so many times they have no idea what they want. So they offer to do whatever the center wants, even if they hate it. Now they've just made a job that they're going to hate before they even start it. So you want to do, and this is what we do in my coaching program, is we do an intake process. We find out, I have a process for finding what you love about the job and championing more of that. Finding what you hate about the job and championing less of that, whether you're in place or this is your first job. Finding out what you love is essential to moving your career forward in a way that you love. Step 3 is what you want. So this is where working with us, we have a process for figuring out what you love. We really do want to identify what is it exactly? What's the main priority here? Is it a title? Is it a raise? Is it less off service time? Is it admin support? What is it that you need to get this done in a way that feels really good to you? So you're so excited to start the job. It will be amazing if ... fill that out. And the silence where people go wrong here is they get up all squirrely in their head. Oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm greedy. They're going to hate me. They're going to pull the job offer. And before the person even has a chance to respond, they're like, okay, please forgive me. I shouldn't have asked. They take it back. I've seen this so many times with people outside of coaching. They cannot hold the silence. In the silence, they've made it mean they're a terrible person, and they immediately take back the thing they requested. So the silence is an essential piece of this 4-step irresistible ask process. And in the silence, you want to be reassuring yourself. This ask is what it will take for all of us to be happy, for all of us to be stronger, for the best patient care, for this to be my last job, for me to come here and be here forever, to stabilize the group, to give them exactly what they want, more than they could have ever imagined. How does that feel? Super empowering, right? When you're thinking those thoughts, you can hold the silence. Other thoughts I like to have people think is this: you want it to be silent because that's them thinking about how they can get to a yes. The silence is golden. The silence is precious. You want to find ways to create the silence, and we teach you how to do that inside of Next Level Freedom. If there's no silence, they're just saying no. That's not great. We want to build and bake in the silence. So people have used this process. If you go to my website, yourpathandfocus.com/freedom, you'll see hundreds of examples of how people have used this 4-step irresistible process to make $100,000 raise, new office space, get out of projects they don't want, get leadership for projects they really want, how to assume a leadership title, how to exit a leadership title they don't want, how to stop working Thursdays and Fridays, how to have a 3-day week every week, how to take every other week off and be paid full time. All this to say is share this podcast episode widely. The more physician women who have this tool set of our 3-step framework and a 4-step irresistible ask process, the more money flows to women physicians, the safer our planet is, the more opportunities our children have, the more resources we have to fund the charities and organizations that are important to us. It makes the world a safer place. So in summary, your 3-step process for your overtalker boss: 1, alert them at the beginning of your 3 items you're going to talk about and remind them with your visual cues. Step 2, script it out, bullet point it on the piece of paper you're bringing, practice it, talk with colleagues, have someone quiz you on scenarios. We can do all this for you inside the program. And step 3, even if it didn't go as well, you can schedule a follow-up appointment. 4-step irresistible ask: what they want, how you'll deliver it, what you want in silence. If you love what you heard here, this is a tiny grain of sand compared to what's in the program. In the program, you the only decision and negotiation process developed exclusively for the physician mom experience. Plus, we work with you at every step of the way to make your job amazing so you can be an exceptional doctor and the mom you want to be. Make sure you're on our email list. The email list is the first to get the podcast, the YouTube videos, the freebies, the workshops, know when the special offers that only go to the email list. You'll know when our doors open. We only open twice a year just for a couple of days. You're not going to want to miss it. So go right now to the show notes. It's yourpathandfocus.com/email, yourpathandfocus.com/email. Go to the show notes so you could it takes you to the right page. I'll see you there.